This is the iPhone SE. Welcome back to the channel. Guys and girls, you're watching me, EMKWAN, here on EMKWAN Reviews. This is the channel where I talk about my passions, including technology and lifestyle. And I've been using this iPhone SE and I want to talk to you about my time spent with this device. But first, let's do what every Apple product deserves, an unboxing. So this is the box that the iPhone SE comes in. It's a little nostalgic, reminds me of some of the previous generation iPhone boxes. But once we pull the lid apart, we get the familiar design by Apple in California. You get some paperwork in there, you get a SIM ejector tool, and you also get the standard Apple stickers as well. We get the device, obviously, and we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. Inside, you're also going to get the 5-watt charging brick, as well as the standard USB-A to Lightning cable. We're also going to get a pair of in-ear wired earpods included as well. Here's a little ASMR goodness. Alright, that's the wrapper off. Taking a closer look at the iPhone SE, and you can see in my hand it looks and feels actually quite familiar. Taking a quick look around the device, at the bottom you'll notice you've got the speaker grill, you've also got the Lightning cable port, and then on the right hand side you've got the SIM tray and the power on off button. On the left hand side you've got the familiar volume rocker with the vibrate on off switch. Then if we turn the device on its back, you'll notice the white color. This comes in two other colors, a black and also a product red. We've got the wide camera there at the top. I'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the things you'll notice is the Apple logo branding there, much more central. It's essentially in the middle of the back, very similar to what you see in the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro. On the front, you're going to find that beautiful 4.7-inch Retina HD display. It's an LCD display that supports True Tone, but that's sandwiched above it by a 7-megapixel selfie camera and below it by a home button with Touch ID. Now this display is a display that's very familiar. It's a display that we've seen and handled before in previous generations of the iPhone. It is a display that works well in this form factor, and it's a display that still has good color, vibrancy, accuracy. It's got a wide color gamut, so it's going to be useful in a whole range of different scenarios and situations, from consuming media to playing games to anything else you might want to do with this display. The display also supports haptic touch, so that means that when you press and hold on certain icons, you're going to get quick menus that pop up. That glass back of the iPhone SE also allows it to be wirelessly charged, which is actually a good thing to see, and that works with any Qi certified charger. So I've been using the iPhone SE for a couple of days now. I was seriously surprised at the amount of interest, positive interest, when the iPhone SE was announced. And Apple's own marketing material mentioned this as being their most powerful chip in their most popular size at the most affordable price range, and in many ways that sums up my experiences with the iPhone SE, because this form factor, as someone that has been using the iPhone 11 Pro Max, going down to this form factor, there are some advantages, and I can understand why it's still incredibly popular. To begin with, it's easy in the hand, it's easy to navigate, it's easy to use. There are a lot of benefits of having a smaller display that you can navigate around. So even though externally the iPhone SE might look familiar, most of the updates have happened internally. It's powered by the A13 Bionic chipset. This is the exact same chipset that you'll find in the current iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, if you're coming from an older iPhone, let's say the iPhone 6 that has the A8 chipset, this is up to 4 times faster. It's also the chipset that has a whole range of other functions and features. So whether you're playing games, graphic intensive games, or whether you're just launching multiple apps, multitasking, all those different elements that you would do with the current operating system, which is iOS 13 for the iPhone, all of that can be done with this A13 Bionic chipset. Advantages that you'll find with that smaller display, you're also going to get better power efficiency with that A13 chipset. So the battery life on the smaller iPhone SE will still be reasonable to good for most people's use. Another big change can be found on the rear of the phone. You'll notice the 12 megapixel wide camera. And it's a pretty decent camera. It's got an aperture of f1.8, optical image stabilization, up to 5 times digital zoom, and it works really well with that A13 Bionic chipset that I was talking about. It works specifically with the image signal processor and the neural engine of the A13 Bionic. So the iPhone SE takes some reasonable images with this wide camera. To begin with, here are a couple of examples that I took stuck in quarantine outside my window of the landscape. You'll notice that the details are there, the color, the accuracy is all prevalent in the images taken. Now, the iPhone SE also has a portrait mode capability, and this is essentially a depth of field effect, and it works both with the front-facing camera and also with the rear camera. There are a whole range of different customization edits in terms of bokeh effects, different lighting that you can enable, and that's available through both the camera capabilities but also the power of iOS 13. So one of the things about portrait mode on the iPhone SE is that it's really trained or designed to work with people. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with inanimate objects. Another cool feature on the iPhone SE is next-gen smart HDR. So if you take photos with people in it, it will recognize that and then enhance things like the highlights and the shadows, etc. In the photo mode, you can simply press and hold the shutter button and it will switch directly from photo to start recording video. And this is a time-saving tip. It means you don't have to go through the modes to get to it. So here's a quick video test with the rear camera on the iPhone SE. This is a shot in 4K at 60 frames per second, and it just gives you a quick example of what the video quality is like. iPhone has always traditionally done really well when it comes to the colors, accuracy. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think as well. One thing that the camera on the iPhone SE won't do is night mode, something that you'd find on, let's say, the iPhone 11 or the 11 Pro Max. So images can be taken in the dark, but obviously they lack the detail and the vibrancy that you would get with night mode enabled. And this is true also for video, as you can see from this example. So this is a quick look at video with the front-facing 7 megapixel selfie camera in terms of quality. Now we'll record at 1080p HD, which is 30 frames per second. Let me know what you guys think of the quality, the audio, and also what you think of the stabilization. I just want to take a moment to talk about the all-important price and affordability element, because I think this is one of the reasons why the iPhone SE was incredibly popular when it was announced. The iPhone SE in 2020 is the newest smartphone from Apple that offers incredible value, and it does that at a competitive price point. And this is going to appeal to those individuals who have, let's say, an older iPhone but don't want to spend extra money for all those bells and whistles. They might just not be required, like the iPhone 11 or the 11 Pro Max. So the iPhone SE in 2020 is going to appeal to them. There's also another group that might just prefer this form factor, the one-handed use, the Touch ID system, particularly over Face ID, given what's going on at the moment. The iPhone SE in 2020 is going to appeal to them. There's another group, and it's quite a large group, and that is of those individuals that might have never owned an iPhone before but are tempted now at this price point at exploring what the iPhone has to offer and what iOS 13 has to offer. This iPhone SE in 2020 is going to appeal to them. And after having spent a couple of days using the iPhone SE, I've realized the practical appeal of what the iPhone SE has. And this is as someone who regularly, wants to get the latest and greatest when it comes to tech and specs. The iPhone SE will appeal to a much larger audience in 2020. And that's it. That's my time spent with the iPhone SE. But now I'd love to know what you guys think. So take this opportunity to leave your comments down below. Are you excited about the iPhone SE? Are you planning on getting one this year? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new around here, I'd love to see you again. So be sure to smash that subscribe button. If you've enjoyed this video, hit like, and I will see you again for another video here on EMKWAN Reviews. Peace and blessings.